Hello one and all, my name is Sean Splains and this is Slay the Spire 2. In our last few episodes we covered the silent character, and in this episode we're going to move on to the Regent. In a similar style, I'll be more explanatory in my first video, going through Act 1, trying to tell you how the character works, and in the following acts we'll go a bit faster and hopefully get through to a third victory in a row, instead of the plus health or the extra cards getting drawn every turn. The Regent starts with these new things called stars, which if you played Slay the Spire 1 you won't have seen this mechanic before. This is an all new mechanic and I'll explain it more in game, because at the moment it won't make a lot of sense. Here we have three different offers from what we had last time. We've got Lost Coffer, gain a card reward and procure a random potion. This is a really good safe option if you've got nothing else that you really want to do. Transform one card. As we saw in our last attempt, transforming can be really good. This has no drawback since you're only transforming one. And in this slot we have Receive Greed, which is a curse card that we can never get rid of and get 333 gold. And while this sounds like a really bad thing, the 333 gold is worth taking the curse some of the time. I would say it's better on the silent since you can typically discard, but as you can see with this guy, he doesn't have that sort of mechanic. Instead, his deck's comprised of 4 strikes, 4 defense, a falling star which does 8 damage and applies 1 weak and 1 vulnerable. As you can see, it costs 0 energy, but it's got 2 little stars, which is the new mechanic in this character, where we're going to have to worry about not only energy but also star generation to play some of our cards. And then we have Venerate, which allows us to generate 2 stars. Seems a little bit complicated at first, but it's easier to play through the game and show you in battles. I think here, based on the map, we don't really have an early shop. We've only got late shops available, so we wouldn't be able to use the gold until later on anyway. So I'm going to just take a transform and transform one of my strikes. We get parry, which is a power that means that when we use another signature item from this character, the Sovereign Blade, we're going to gain 10 block. Well, this sounds really good. It's kind of hard to play the Sovereign Blade multiple times, but we'll see how we get on. I'm not feeling that confident after our first choices. This might be a bad run, but we'll see if I can pull it off. I'm only going to go for 1 elite because, like I say, I'm feeling quite underconfident. So we'll try and plan a safe route. We're going to go left here, take some mysteries. Go here, take our path here to heal potentially, here again to heal, take 1 elite and head up into the boss. As we can see, this is a different boss yet again. Just like there's only 3 elites in each act, there's only 3 possible bosses for each act as well, so this will help us have some understanding about all of the options by the time we're done with the series. Let's just go into our next combat. Here we've got the Fuzzy Crawler. And here, even though I can't really use the parry for the rest of the battle, I'm going to play it so that I don't have to draw it anymore. This can be quite a good strategy when you're into weaker combats and you can afford to do that. Here I'm going to apply Falling Star to get the vulnerable so I can do bigger damage with Strike, and then I'm going to play Venerate, so I'm allowed to play Falling Star again when I draw it. So as you can see, we've got the 3 energy and we started with the 3 stars because of our relic. So we just need to try and keep this number topped up when we can safely do so. Here we'll play Venerate and we'll play 2 defense. Take 1 damage. Again, 2 defense, so we take 0 damage and we'll do a Fallen Star and a Strike. This turn he's going to buff himself again, but as long as we just draw 1 strike, we're okay. Here we get the option of Crescent Spear, deal 6 damage and deal additional 2 damage for all cards that have a cost for a star. This is quite a good safe choice if you want to just do a lot of damage, but ultimately I would try and avoid taking them early on before you can actually get the +2 up and running. When this is upgraded, it goes up to +3 per star card. Shining Strike is a very solid option because we've got 8 damage for 1 energy, that goes up to 11 damage for 1 energy. You gain 2 stars and you always put it back in the top of your draw pile, so this is consistent damage every single turn that you're using it. In the early game it's really strong, as you get further into the game it gets less strong. And then Pillar of Creation, if whenever you create a card, gain 3 block as a power, which goes up to 4 block. And that's another one of the modes that this character has, is creating a lot of cards. One mode is having the blade that we saw in the parry card, which hopefully I'll get later on. And another mode is building up a lot of stars and using star cards. We're going to go down the route of stars and blade at the moment, based on what I've seen so far. Here we find the Tablet of Truth event again. I won't read through it this time since we've already had it before. And again, I'm going to get one upgrade and then I'll walk out. This turn, I'm going to kill the guy in the back and then block the damage from the guy in the front. And as we can see, we're just going to keep on drawing this card over and over again. And in combats like this, I find that to be very useful. Kill the guy in the front, block so we only take 1 damage. Hit the guy in the front and attack. As you can see, our stars are consistently high because we keep getting it from Shining Strike. So in theory, that's one of our problems solved. We now have very good star generation. Here we've got a couple of new options. Collision Course, which deals 11 damage for 0 cost, but it adds a debris to our hand, which is a 1 cost status card that when we play it exhausts. Or Cosmic Indifference, which, like I said in the other characters, this type of card is one of my favourites. You gain 6 block and you have the ability to put a card from your discard pile back to the top of your draw pile. This is actually a really important card for the Sovereign Blade build, so we're going to take this, and I'll explain more when we actually get the ability to use some Sovereign Blade. Unfortunate that this was a combat instead of an event, but we can't complain too much given how good our luck was in the first couple videos. Take 0 damage, hit him with a big attack. We know that Nick is going to be buffing, so we want to use this again so we can use it next turn. We'll play a defend and we'll play a strike, because I think I'll be able to kill him next turn. Shining Strike, strike, strike. Okay, so we get to see Collision Course and Crescent Spear again, and we also get to see a very good power in Void form. Now, this costs 3, which is obviously quite expensive, but the first 2 cards you play each turn are free to play. If you can get this off early and you can get it off on a turn where the enemy isn't attacking you, this is very, very good. When you upgrade it, it takes away the ethereal, which obviously means that if you don't play it that turn, it exhausts. But to be honest, I kind of like keeping ethereal on here, because if you're in a hallway fight and you're not going to make the most efficiency out of playing those 2 free cards, because the battle only lasts 3 turns anyway, I'm quite happy to just let this exhaust and not have to draw it again. So we're going to take it and we're going to keep it unupgraded probably for a while. Here we get some new enemies we haven't seen in this act before, and these guys can change a little bit. As we saw in one of our videos, this back one was someone that had a little dog with them, and they all have different attack patterns. I think there's 5 different raiders that this can be. Here we've got Crossbow, Brute and Assassin. This guy's going to just do the most damage out of them overall because he'll buff himself consistently. This one will do high damage but is very squishy, and the middle one is going to block and then do damage afterwards. We probably want to take out this one since it's the easiest one to take out. So I'm actually going to pop the strength potion here, because even though this is a hallway fight, it's actually pretty hard for us right now because we don't have a lot of damage set up. So as we see, we get to draw the Void form, but it's not on a good turn because that would force us to take a lot of damage here because it forcibly ends your turn. We'll kill you. And we really want to try and block this damage that he's putting out towards us. Now he's going to block again, so we have the freedom to try and get a kill into this guy. And then we'll Cosmic Indifference to get Falling Star back, and we should be able to kill him like that. Here we get 3 new card options. Quasar, which for the cost of 2 stars is going to allow us to choose one of 3 random colourless cards to add into our hand. Child of the Stars, of whenever you spend stars, gain 2 block for each star spent. And Spectrum Shift is another power that at the start of your turn add 1 random colourless card into your hand for a cost of 2, which when upgraded goes down to 1. Here I'm not really catered to deal with any of these, although Quasar has the most potential since we're creating so many stars. We're not actually spending that many at the moment, so Child of Stars is not great. I would be taking that in the hopes that we then find more cards, whereas I think Quasar's a good one to pick at the moment. Here I probably could go for an elite, but I'm quite low in HP, so I'm going to skip it for now. Quasar giving me an upgraded card is really good, but seeing that I'm playing Shining Strike so often, I'm just going to upgrade that. Here we've got the Foresight. We can kill him in 1 hit. I can Venerate to get some stars and I can block. Here I can use this to deal 10 damage to all enemies. And then I should be able to use Falling Star and Shining Strike to kill him. Cosmic Indifference to bring Falling Star back and then block this damage. Next turn I can Falling Star and Shining Strike to kill him and strike the guy in the back. Okay, so finally we get a card that allows us to get Sovereign Blade on the board. So explain this first. Summon Forth, put Sovereign Blade into your hand from anywhere and forge 8. So this forge is what allows us to create the Sovereign Blade card every single combat. It's not a card that you ever get given to you in one of these card rewards. It's something that you create naturally through a multitude of cards that this character has that has the forge ability. As we can see in the picture on the left, it says that it deals 10 damage, but this forge adds damage to it every time you play it. So it's going to say 18 when we draw it, and then if we play Summon Forth again, it'll say 26, 34, etc. Parry again, we've already got, and we know that does 10 block every time we play Sovereign Blade. And Convergence, the next turn, gain an extra energy and star and retain your hand this turn. As we've seen previously, retain is very strong, and obviously getting more energy and more stars is very good as well. So this is an essential card for me, and I would always want one in my deck, but at the moment we really need to get the Sovereign Blade online, so I'm going to take Summon Forth. Also, as an added note, the synergy of having Summon Forth along with Cosmic Indifference means I'm going to be able to play my Sovereign Blade very often, which is good. Here we're going to do this. As you can see, it's 18 damage at the moment. We'll play Quasar, which I'll take Omni Slice for 8 free damage. And I'll just play the Sovereign Blade. And now as you can see, it floats around us, which is quite cool. Here, unfortunately, we're going to have to take a little bit of chip damage, so I'll do Shining Strike, into Falling Star, into Strike, into Cosmic Indifference to get Sovereign Blade back, and then we'll kill. Here we've got another Cosmic Indifference, which is very tempting. I would never take more than 2 though. Glow, which we gain a star and draw a card, and then next turn draw another card. Or Photon Cut, which is deal 10 damage and draw a card, and then put 1 card from your hand into the top of your draw pile, all for 1 energy. This is very good in a lot of situations because it allows you to draw and it allows you to control what you have in your hand at the moment and plan for the next turn. Also, the upgrade allows you to get 2 cards and deal 13 damage. Glow's upgrade gives you 2 stars, and we're going to take Cosmic Indifference. Here we get a new relic in Lucky Fish. Whenever you add a card to your deck, gain 15 gold. So yet another run we're going to have where we're probably going to have quite a lot of gold by the end of it. And here, because I'm planning to take on an elite, I will most definitely take the heal here. I don't think we're strong enough to get away with just smithing something. This is the run that we've struggled with the most, and it just goes to show you how not having a set build can really hurt you. Compared to our first 2 runs where we hit the ground running, We got things that worked well together and we just felt kind of unstoppable. In this situation, we do have good cards. It's just not all of them really gel well together. So you can kind of get thrown off and it makes it hard to draw what you want to on certain turns. I'm almost tempted to use Void Form. Almost. But not quite. Play parry and 2 defense. Mitigate a lot of the damage. Here I will try and target down the guy on the left. And then I could Venerate or I could get Fallen Star back. I think I'll get Fallen Star back. Since Shining Strike means we're already regaining stars every other turn, we can just do this for free. We unfortunately can't summon forth and play Sovereign Blade this turn because we don't have enough energy. Unless, no, we unfortunately don't get to see production. We do get to see Gold Axe, which will do a good bit of damage. However, that'll do 15 damage, taking him down to 10. Not enough though. We'll do that and we'll play a defend. You'll do 7. And then we'll kill this turn. Get another strength potion. Here we get one of my favourite cards again, which I'll be picking, Gather Light. Gain 8 block and gain a star. This is just generally very good in your build. Because of Shining Strike, we don't need the star side of it, which when it's upgraded goes up to 11. We mostly need the block. I'm Invincible, gain 10 block, or at the end of your turn, if this card is on top of your draw pile, play it, for which upgrades to 13 block, sorry. Which, this is more efficient than Gather Light, but I generally prefer just Gather Light as a card. And Glitter Stream is a 2-cost card that gives you 11 block, and you gain 5, or 13 block, and next turn you gain 7. All 3 of these are good cards in different situations. I'm going to take Gather Light, because if you don't take this rare card here, which I've not mentioned before, the chance of getting one will continue to increase, so we're likely to see another one soon. A new event. Room full of cheese. This room is full of cheese! You look around to see if there are any traps, and above you is more cheese. The candles in the room appear to be made of cheese. The furniture is also cheese. Suddenly, the door behind you slams shut. It's made of cheese! Do we want to gorge and get 2 of 8 random common cards to add to our deck, or do we want to lose 14 HP and get the relic known as the Chosen Cheese? At the end of combat, gain 1 max HP. In this situation, I would almost always try and take Chosen Cheese because you are likely, especially in Act 1, you can get this in Act 1 or 2, but in Act 1 you're likely to get about 20 HP from this by the time you get to the final boss, which is a lot of HP, but I don't know if we can afford to lose 14 right now and still take on this elite. That's a very high risk move. I think I would rather just take the 2 cards and hope that we get good ones. As it stands, I feel like Rotten War is good because it will help with our Blade build. We have quite a few cards to explain here actually. Rotten War, 7 damage, 7 forge, very good efficiency. Know Thy Place, 1 weaken, 1 vulnerable, and it exhausts itself. But if we upgrade it, it no longer exhausts itself. This is a very good card, despite how weak it looks at first glance. Guiding Star, deal 12 damage and draw 2 cards. This is a good option because it's just a lot of damage. This goes up to 13 and 3 cards. Crush Under, hits all enemies for 7 damage and causes them to lose strength for 1 turn, and that gets buffed to 8 damage and losing 2 strength for 1 turn. Cosmic Indifference, we've already got 2, so I don't want another one. Photon Cup we've seen. Hidden Cache, gain 1 star and then 3 next turn, or 4 next turn with the upgrade. And then Glow we've already seen before as well. I'm going to take Rotten War because I want to get the Sovereign Blade buff, and I'm going to take Crush Under because I want an answer to hit multiple enemies at once, as I don't have that at the moment. You take a little nibble of cheese, but this fuels you to eat even more cheese. Time passes, you have eaten an awe-inspiring amount of cheese. Tonight, dreams will be cheese. Here we get the Byrdonis. So we're going to have to suffer a lot of front-loaded damage and try and outpace it whilst blocking a wee bit. So we're going to take our strength here. Play Quasar. Gambit is a very high-risk card, but I've never found a way to use it. But I imagine if you can find block in other ways, you're fine. Gain 50 block. If you take unblocked attack this combat, die. Panic Button. Gain 30 block. You cannot gain block for the next 2 turns, also high risk. And Ultimate Defend gives you 11 block. That's the best option here. There's also an ultimate strike card that is just a better version of strike, but we'll show that when we see one. I'm just going to do a defend and an ultimate defend so we don't take damage this turn. Here I will actually play Void Form. I think it's worth it. Or is it worth it? No, not really. As much as this will feel like a mistake because we've not yet used it, it will come in much more handy in boss fights. That's more what it's there for. I'll play Parry. I'll Cosmic Indifference on Falling Star so I can continually weaken him. And I'll Shining Strike to do big damage. We take 3. He's going to do 19, so we're going to start with Falling Star. He's now going to do 14. I'll play Rotten War and then I'll play Sovereign Blade. We get an attack potion, we get a pair, which is a relic that upon pickup raises our max HP by 10. As we saw in the last run, we got a strawberry, which raises it by 7. Then there's pear, which does 10. And there's a mango that does 14. So that's the fruit relic. Here we get one of my favourite cards, and it's always a snap pick. But we see a glow, we've already seen this before. We see Child of the Stars, which now would be kind of good, but we won't get it yet because we get Big Bang. Draw 1 card, gain energy, gain star, forge 5, and exhaust. And if we upgrade it, it becomes innate, which means we play it as the first card every combat. Because it's 0 cost, and we're getting an energy out of it, and we draw a card, it's got infinite efficiency. Unfortunately, we don't get it turn 1 here, but we're going to be upgrading it at the next campfire if we can get through this without taking too much damage. Here we'll play Quasar. This will actually allow us to get Big Bang if we want right now, or we can take something that gives us a lot of block. As I can see here, we do have a few block cards, so I'm going to actually take Secret Technique, grab Big Bang, get that energy and that star, and get the Sovereign Blade online early. I will pop this guy, then finish him off, and then Cosmic Indifference to get the blade back. Now they're both doing 10, which is unfortunate. What does the attack potion give us? Enough. We'll take Heirloom Hammer. We will hit the guy in the front. I'll play Parry and I will Sovereign Blade. The reason that we have retained another Sovereign Blade, I will explain Heirloom Hammer since we got it from the potion. Deal 20 damage, choose a colourless card in your hand and add a copy of it into your hand. So that's why we copied the Sovereign Blade and now we have 2 of them, and we even keep the animation of 2 of them around us. It is possible to get quite a lot of swords and make them go around you and look very silly. Also, if you hover over it, it floats around you much slower, or even stops by the looks of it now, so you can actually line them up if you're feeling bored and do things like that. Fun little quality of life tip there. Here we'll just finish off the combat. Attack potion, we get it back. Here we get Solar Strike, which is fun when you don't have Shining Strike. It's basically just the attack version of Gatherlight. 9 damage, which goes up to 10 damage, and 1 star that goes up to 2 star. Photon Cup of Scene, and another one of my favourites on this character, Reflect. This character doesn't get too many block cards, so the ones that we do get we want to cherish. This blocks for 21 when upgraded at the cost of 1 energy and 3 stars. And thankfully, because we're generating so many stars, this will be quite easy to play. And with the Cosmic Indifference, we'll be able to continuously redraw it and continuously block for 21. And also, as the name suggests, block attack becomes reflected onto your attacker, so you don't even have to really attack, you can just reflect damage onto them repeatedly. Excellent card. Here we have the option to heal and get almost full efficiency, but I really want to upgrade Big Bang and just get this in here off the bat. Here is our first boss that is more than 1 enemy. So we've got these guys, and as it says, they are minions, so realistically we could just kill the guy in the back and these ones would despawn, but in my opinion it is more efficient to just kill them left to right and get through the combat that way. So turn 1, we're going to play Big Bang, get our energy and our star, and start our Sovereign Blade. We could Sovereign Blade and then play Summon Forth to get it back again. Let me play the attack potion and find out what we get from this. We'll explain these since we haven't seen them. Stardust says X for your stars, so it will use up all of your current remaining stars and deal 5 damage to random enemy X times based on your energy count. Beat into shape is 1 cost and it deals 5 damage and forges 5, but it also forges an additional 5 for every other time you've hit an enemy this turn. And make it so as a 0 cost card that deals 6 damage, but for every 3 skills you play in a turn, you put this back into your hand. So if you play a lot of skills, this is the best option. If you make a lot of stars, which we do, but I don't really want to take this just now, this is the best option. And if we have Sovereign Blade, which I do want to abuse, we pick this. So we'll take Beat into shape. We will attack this little guy. We can hit him and we'll get 10 forge, meaning that this now does 25 damage. I'll summon forth and I'll actually Cosmic Indifference to get summon forth back, and then I'll block again so we can minimise the amount of damage we're taking. And at the moment the Sovereign Blade's already at 33, which is quite a lot. And from now I really want to play Void Form this combat. As I've mentioned previously, if we get to the end of this fight and we're at like 1 health, it doesn't matter, because when we go into Act 2 we're going to heal back up to full. I'm pretty confident that even though they are threatening 19 damage this turn to take me down to 39, I can take that. So I'm just going to play Void Form, ending the turn, taking the damage, but now importantly I can play Sovereign Blade for free. So we're going to play Rot and War first to get more forge. So now this is doing 30 damage. Play that. Get the Venerate online. Here, the 0 cost from Void Form applies to stars as well. So instead of being 1 energy and 3 stars, this is just going to be 0 all over. Reflect, we're only reflecting 7 damage, but every little helps in this situation. And I'm going to leave him up because we might draw our attacking all enemies card and be able to kill him with that since he's already so low. I'll hit him like this. I'll actually draw that exact card so that I can do it next turn, and then I'll defend. Highlighting how good Cosmic Indifference is. I needed a specific card for my deck. I get to play it because I picked it out. Here we can play Reflect, we can play Summon Blade to get this back. It's now doing 48 damage. And we don't really need to play Shining Strike anymore, so I don't mind just playing Sovereign Blade to kill this little guy. Then we can play Quasar to get Prolong, which means that next turn we're going to keep our current 27 block. So we start the turn with 27 block, meaning we don't need to worry about blocking this turn, we'll just hit this guy a few times. And now we're in a 1v1 against the final boss. His battle rotation is, he does 1 normal attack, 1 debuff attack, then the multi-hit, and then he buffs. It's on a 4-turn cycle. So we're going to Cosmic Indifference to get the blade back. Then I'm going to defend twice, strike and venerate. Here we're seeing the value of Void Form. Because we played it so early into the combat, we've basically been able to play every card in our hand every single turn. And although it didn't work out too well in our previous combats, it's worked out really well in this one. It's allowed me to play a lot more risky. Play Summon Forth, 78 damage in the first act. That's how it's done. Here we take the 100 gold, we're almost at 500 at the end of the first act as well, which is really good. And here we get 2 other new options, but I'm still snap picking Big Bang. It's a great card. Foregone conclusion, next turn put 2 cards from your draw pile into your hand. I'm yet to really find a good use for this and justify it being a rare card. In my opinion it should be uncommon or something else should be done with it, but it's there. Bundle of Joy, add 3 random colourless cards into your hand and exhaust. This can be good to pair up with your Pillar of Creation if you're creating cards. But again, it's okay, it's not brilliant. The randomness of it makes it less good for me, but Big Bang is consistently very good and I'm going to be using it every single combat. Once again, we're getting Tezcatera. Really want to see a different ancient and show them off, but here we are. And we're going to start with... Oh... As I've been doing with the previous videos, I'm only going to do one act per video. I just got so lost with how quickly that went that I decided to just click on that out of habit. But I'm sorry, I'm going to have to block us there and save it for the next one. Thank you so much for watching. I have been Sean Splains, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.